In the beginning, the solar system is a swirl of gas and dust. Little by little, it clumps together, smaller chunks of material plunging into larger aggregations. They form the planets. 4.5 billion years later, this is Mercury, closest planet to the Sun. Beyond Mercury, 3 more rocky little worlds: Venus, planet Earth, and Mars. Outward to the gassy giants of Jupiter and Saturn with its rings. Farther to the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, and to the icy debris of the Kuiper Belt. Here is the trash of the solar system, the comets of the Oort cloud, snowballs as old as the planets. For that's how the solar system shakes out. Mercury and the other inner planets condense from the heavier elements. Only the lightest make it to Jupiter and beyond. Condensing closest of all to the Sun, Mercury is rock solid. A clear evening on Earth. Mercury is on the right, Venus at the top. They skip through the sky close to the horizon. Tiny Mercury is the most difficult to see, barely clearing the skyline at dusk and dawn. Pull back from Earth and the reason is clear. We're seeing only part of their tight solar orbits. Venus, second from the Sun, takes 225 days to complete one orbit. Mercury, just 88. Occasionally, when it's aligned between Earth and the Sun, we see Mercury crossing the solar face. Outwardly, Mercury is like our moon, rocky, cratered, barren. But inside, like Earth, is an iron-rich core. That core is as big as the moon, and at 70% iron, Mercury is the densest planet of all. From the Sun, that searing pivot of the solar system, it's an average 58 million kilometers to Mercury. From Earth, it's much farther, and we've only once sent a space probe. November 1973, the Mariner 10 mission, lift off to a planet uncomfortably close to the Sun. Such are the orbital configurations that it takes Mariner only 3 months to reach Venus. With the trick of gravity assist, Venus thrusts the craft onward to Mercury. First encounter is in March 1974. Mariner makes 3 flybys, and these are its pictures. Mercury is battle-scarred, scorched and irradiated by the nearby Sun, an ancient landscape of craters, cracks and basins. This is one side of Caloris, the site of an impact that gouged a multi-ringed basin 1,300 kilometers wide. The culprit is a planetesimal, a lump of primordial matter. Such missiles rained in torrents upon the early planets. A smack, 4 billion years old. Top right is Zola, a smaller impact, and here the pockmarks left by ejecta, material splashed from the crater. These craters are split by a huge fault. Mercury is riven with cracks, many of them the result of the Caloris impact. It may also have caused this lava plain, molten rock surging from beneath. But most plains post-date Caloris, they formed as cracks spewed great seas of lava. In contrast, Mercury's highlands have much sharper features. The epoch that created these plains runs for 1 billion years, but for the last 3 billion there's been no volcanic activity. Mercury is inert, the interior solid. All that disrupts the surface are random whacks from space, calling cards like these. The arrow shows how slowly Mercury spins on its axis. It turns only 1.5 times in a single orbit of the Sun. The result is a crazy calendar. It means Mercury's day is twice as long as its year. The day lasts 176 Earth days, the year just 88. It gets stranger. If you stood on Mercury, you'd see the Sun apparently shrinking in the sky. It's to do with the variable distance of the Sun. For the planet has an elliptical orbit. The Sun appears larger when Mercury swings close. Far away, and it's half the size. And there's a weirder effect. Each time it passes closest to the Sun, Mercury speeds up, then slows again. The result on the planet is a double sunrise. The proximity of the Sun means Mercury is hot. At midday on the equator, it can hit 430 degrees Celsius. The planet has a temperature range of 600 degrees, the greatest in the solar system. At midnight on the dark side, it can be as cold as minus 170. Even so, it's surprising that some astronomers believe there's ice on Mercury, ice permanently shielded from the scorch of the Sun. Radar mapping by telescopes in the United States and here in Puerto Rico indicate ice at both poles. If there is ice, it may have been left by comets, the ice preserved in perpetual shadow deep in polar craters. But confirmation must await a second mission to Mercury. Observations through big optical instruments are impossible. The planet is too close to the Sun. And who'd risk the eyesight of the Hubble Space Telescope? With a diameter of just under 5,000 kilometers, Mercury is the smallest of the inner planets. It has an atmosphere so rarefied as to barely exist, a magnetic field just 1% of Earth's. Almost all we know of Mercury is thanks to Mariner 10, a mission that left more than half the planet, the blank areas, still to be photographed.